You can see here over my shoulder, the Jackson County Mobile Command Unit is already here and set, and there is a pickup truck on the other side of it for the Jackson County Sheriff's Office as well. Now, they were here yesterday looking and searching the area. What we know right now is that Nolan Wells was last seen without a shirt in blue swim trunks with some sunglasses on around 3 p.m. on the 4th of July over at Horn Island. Now, he went out there with some friends to celebrate the weekend and celebrate the holiday, and has not been seen, like I said.
All right, guys, let's think about where the location is. This is off the coast of Ocean Springs, around that area. It's in Jackson County. It's in Jackson County, not Jackson, the city of Jackson. It's Jackson County, which is South Mississippi, and Horn Island is in the Gulf of now America. It's in the Gulf down there, and it's a remote island. It's a remote island designated for wildlife. It has no structures. It has no restrooms. It doesn't have drinking water. Basically, you just on an island like one of those what you would see on TV, a remote island. So we got to get that understood right there, so you'll have a good idea of what the surroundings are.
Since 3 p.m. Now, the search party is expected to continue today. The United Cajun Navy is expected to also take some aircrafts up in the air to help with the search efforts. I've already heard about 2 planes go over my head this morning as well. We got a chance to speak with the United Cajun Navy earlier about this investigation moving forward.
If you were one of the group that was with him, or if you were on the island and you were there and saw anything, please don't be afraid to come forward and tell the authorities exactly what you know, no matter what you might think might be some consequences or whatnot. But it's very important right now in these critical moments that we get truthful, confirmable information.
Now, the family and also Jackson County Sheriff's Department is looking for any information or any photos or videos that could have helped and could help pinpoint a timeline out there on the island on July 4th. If you were out there celebrating on Horn Island on Independence Day and you have anything that you feel like could prove or point to a person or timeline, it is asked that you send that in to the Jackson County.
Guys, I worked in CID for a while, for a number of years. Now, let's think about this. I know there's a lot of officers out there that's or detectives. They worked in criminal investigations, and they're probably going to have different opinions than mine. But I'm just going to tell you how I would handle this case if it was assigned to me. Now, it's hopefully you're going to have a lot of help on this case, and you're going to probably get a lot of different information, some good, some bad. But the one thing in criminal investigation that you have to be is organized. You have to be very organized because information is coming left and right. Some is good, some is bad. So that's the first thing. Okay. Now, you're talking about where I would start is trying to find out as many people as I can that could possibly be witnesses and could be helpful to the case. But right now, the priority is to try to find the kid, try to find whether he's dead or alive. That's going to be the main priority. That's the search part of it. So let's not get, ahead of ourselves. Whether it's a crime or this is an accident, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But the main objective is to try to find this kid, okay? And you have to start by finding as many witnesses or many people that was possibly on that island to start trying to piece together information. Because remember, this island is remote. And it's not like working a case in a neighborhood where you have street cameras, you have door cameras, or people would have cameras on their houses, and you can catch different views. You're talking about an island that don't have cell phone. It doesn't have cell phone power, things of that nature, signal. You don't have cell phone signal, so it might have a little bit. You might be able to get bars, but for the most part, it really don't. So you would have to rely on just people, using their phone maybe just as a camera to film on the island, and that's probably the only video that you're probably going to get. So that's what you got to start with. And the next thing I would try to do is get with the parents and find out what kind of kid this young man is. Is he a type of loner? Does he like to go off and by himself? Does he do sporadic things? What is it? Because you're going to know if this is the type of guy that will just break out from the crowd and go somewhere or be adventurous or whatever like that. So that's what I would start right there. Then I would try to gather his friends, because whoever reported, did they even report that he was missing? Because think about this. It takes about this island is like 9 miles off the coast of Mississippi. It's about 9 miles. It takes 9 to 13 miles. So it takes about 30 minutes, and you have to charter a boat to get out there. So more than likely he chartered a boat with these guys, or somebody did, and he went with somebody out there to an island. And so you're gonna have to figure out who reported this, if it was reported, and that's where you start working your way back. Let's keep going. Let's check out some more of the video.
County Sheriff's Department.
First thing I'm gonna say is I would never leave without the full head count of my friends. That is rule number one.
I wanted to add this video because this lady, she makes some very good points. We can't do a lot of assumptions. And this is another thing I'll tell you too. The police, the investigation, they're not going to tell you everything. And as an investigator, you can't do that because you don't want to tip your hand. Whether it could not be an accident. This could be a crime. This could be a homicide. This could be a missing. It could be, you don't want to tip your hand. So they're going to keep the investigation tight and release specific information to the public, because you're going to need the public to try, if this kid is somehow trapped somewhere or it's something, a crime, anything, you are going to need the public help for the people, and especially the people that was there. So you have to release some information, but you also got to be careful about what information that you release. And that's why they're not going to tell you a lot, especially when it comes to suspects and things of that nature. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, I'm sure somebody can critique me and say, hey, man, I would do it this way, or you leaving out that. I'm sure somebody will, but that's what I would be mindful of.
We don't get off no damn island. We don't get onto no boat. We don't do nothing until we have every last person that we came with all in one place. You mean to tell me that no one took account for Nolan Xavier Wells before y'all got back on that boat to go back to the main island? Something's not adding up. 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells was last.
Now, another thing, guys, you would say, well, is this about race or whatever? I'm not going to get deep into that. Everybody got their opinion. That's not what my channel is about. But I will say this. You do have to do a little profiling in order to see because certain cultures do certain things. Black people do certain things. White folks do certain things. Asian people do certain things. Hispanics do certain things. It's just in our culture. Black people are not as curious as other cultures. We just not. I mean, it's a stereotype. You see it in the movies all the time. Some is banging in the back room. We're not gonna go see what's banging in the back room. We're gonna go out the door. We're gonna be headed to the door to get on up out of there, and then we'll ask what happened. If a crowd start going, a fight break out, and people start running, we may not even know what's happening, but we're gonna run in the opposite direction. That's just in our nature. So you talking about a guy that's going on a boating trip, and in our culture, we don't do that much boating to begin with. We that's not part of what we do. Do we do it? Yes, but that's not primarily things we do. So that's kind of one of those things where he's with friends that does boating, so he's out there with them. Now, as a group, we tend to not leave people behind. We just don't, without, especially if somebody is not with us when we returning. That's not something we're going to do. We're going to let somebody know, or we're going to go try to look for him and see what happened to him, especially if that's not what he's known for doing, maybe going off by himself, doing things like that.
Seen on July 4th with his friends on Horn Island outside of Jackson, Mississippi. He was last seen in blue shorts, sunglasses, and that's it. Nolan's parents are looking for him nonstop. They just want to find their son. Now, the U.S. Coast Guard and the Cajun Navy are looking for Nolan. The Cajun Navy commander said that he was last seen with a teen before he disappeared. They found his phone, but they did not find him. And if this is his friend group, I'm not going to lie. I don't have that much faith in finding this boy alive. Because like I said before, there's no way in hell I would hop on a boat to go home and not all of my friends are accounted for. Y'all didn't give a fuck about him whatsoever. And there's somebody out there that was part of that friend group that knows what the fuck happened. But everybody's locking the fuck up. Now, I'm trying to keep the faith that this boy's just sitting there lost on this island and, you know, he fell asleep or some shit. But 9 times out of 10, we already know how this shit goes, especially with a friend group like that. My prayers go out to Nolan's mother and father and his family and friends.
Now, is it possibility that this guy could be lost on the island? I wouldn't think so, because you are going to hear the sound. You could be deep. Just say if it's just a wooded area, it's real dense. You're going to hear the sound. You're going to hear the sound. And once you hear the sound, you're going to start going towards the sound. So if there's people yelling, helicopters above, you're going to hear the sound. And you're going to start making your way towards where the sound is coming from. So I wouldn't think that's a possibility. Or I wouldn't say a possibility, but that would be low on my radar. Now, could he be trapped or hurt or something like that? That's possible. But then you got to go back to him wandering off by himself, especially on a remote island. But my biggest concern, where I'm definitely gonna start, is did y'all report that this guy was missing? When did y'all leave? Why didn't you report he was? That's where I'm gonna start. And then that's where you start your timeline. You start your timeline from the time they started talking about this trip. Who was involved in this trip? How are you gonna get there? Who paid for it? Then I would start working my way up with the little teeny, eeny, beady details, working my way forward. And you know, when did y'all get off the boat? Where did y'all go? What was the events that y'all attended? Were y'all having camping? Were y'all just swimming? What were y'all doing? Those are the things that I would do. And you know, along with collect other small bits and tits of information coming in from the Cajun Navy, from the local authority, and we actually combing that island trying to find the kid or whatever, if he's on the island or in the water. But listen, guys, I'm gonna cut this video short. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. There's a lot of information that's still pending. I'm sure that they have more information that they're holding on to, trying to work this case. But hit me up. Let me know what you think about it. Tell me, you know, what your opinion is.
Fire, shots fired.